We are the performers who live in Pulau Pinang. Hey, hey, yeah. And if you call us entertainers, you would not be so wrong. Yeah. It's part and parcel.
Hi, welcome to the Penang Heritage Art Festival podcast. I'm Lorraine, and today we are going to be interviewing Mr. Jay Menon, who is from the Penang Drama Society and also one of the organizers for the Penang Heritage Art Festival. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Mr. Jay, I want to understand about the Penang Drama Society. So do you mind just sharing how the society was founded?
Penang Players was founded actually in the 60s, 1960s, and maybe even 1950s by British expatriates in Penang who enjoyed amateur theatre. So we have records that go back to the 50s with the name Penang Players. Until the 80s, they continued. Then there was a small break and we reformed, and that was under Angela Clark. So if you count from the 80s, we've actually had late 80s, we've actually celebrated our 25th year. So Penang Players still continues with a production every year, and it's been a pleasure working with them for the last 20 years or so.
Wow, so you really been there with the Penang Players. So I'm just want to know a bit more, like now that you said from the break, what is the current mission for the Penang Players?
Our mission is simply to allow people interested in drama to audition and try out for the more active part of our audience. But for most of them, it's simply a must entertainment, because live entertainment is not so prolific in drama. There are lots of it in music, and then dance, and then comes theatre. So part of a sophisticated society, you got to have cultural entities that allow people to come and see a live performance. That is the main thing.
Well, actually, that is going to lead into my third question actually, is that how does Penang Players is involved with the Penang Heritage Arts Festival for this year?
That's a really interesting question. Briefly, I'll say now that we've always wanted to have a vehicle every year in a collaborative sense with other performers. So this happened to be one vehicle that actually arose out of our previous production in 2019, Memes a Love Story, where Jerome and Ida helped our original production with song and dance and music. And so we thought this should be the vehicle where Penang's performers have opportunities of collaboration.
Yes, so thank you for sharing that. Not just music and dance, but theatre is also an element into the arts. So for the Penang Players, I'm aware that you are going to be staging a play, and it is about the Rani Dhobi. So do you want to just give us a snippet on what is Rani Dhobi
Definitely.
about?
Yes. It's our first historical play in the sense that it's an original play which I wrote. And it is to do with Penang in 1800. Because one of the things that we want to do in this festival is to connect all performers to the collective heritage of the island and beyond. Hence, I chose a historical piece to showcase our very diverse and very interesting history. So Rani Dhobi, I discovered, was a lady who in 1800 dominated the laundry business for supporting the British sepoys. So it was very big business, and she had an ambition which was quite strange and which I thought was worthy of exploration in this play. That she wanted to set up a temple in her gut where the river is, you know. So that is a totally unusual, shall we say, ambition for someone of that background, not related to royalty and stuff like that. So I thought I need to make a play to explore, because there's not so many archives regarding her. But there is an extraordinary paragraph in the Handbook of British India which explains that she had got the land from the Lieutenant Governor George Leith at that time. So I said, my goodness, so there is some basis for this legend, but I have to fill up the rest of the gaps. So we hope it's interesting for all who come to see the play.
Thank you for this very brief synopsis of the play. And I want to maybe just go a little bit more, right? For Rani Dhobi, what is the feel that you want from this play actually? What is the feel?
It is a narrative. It flows linearly. So there are many events going on, and the characters are the vehicle by which the events are understood. So there's no overarching agenda that I have. I let my characters speak from their points of view, and it is up to the audience to interpret the events as they see it. So there is no, I have no agenda in this except to tell a story at a spanking pace.
Wow, I'm quite impressed that this drama actually is again a reflection with Penang's past, and also it is also to fill up gaps to this story. Now, any other plays going to happen? Maybe you want to share any future projects that you want to highlight here in the podcast.
Okay, if this goes, shall we say, reasonably accepted by the
Swimmingly.
crowd, yeah, I have many other stories which have connections to that period of Penang, because I find that period is to be quite not too far behind, not ancient history and not so current. So it's just the right mix of recent past that I think will attract viewers to come and see what Penang was like 200, 150 years, 100 years ago. I think that's a great period to explore. So yes, many things are in the works.
I love that you're keeping it a little bit under wraps, but you're still revealing bits and pieces. Now, being one of the organizers for the Penang Heritage Art Festivals, what are you going to anticipate from the crowd from outside to come to Penang? What is your anticipation gonna be like?
Okay, this being a pilot project, we have no special anticipation, just that we want to show the public that collaborative works within the theme of Penang heritage can form a realistic basis for all future festivals for local artists. So, especially to other local artists, I must kind of apologize because we don't have the wherewithal yet to include all. So a festival cannot be a giant festival, but I think it is practical to do it over 2 weekends. And in the future, of course, we will invite other local artists. The whole purpose is to have this particular format with a theme which links the past to the present, where respect is given, but also freedom to interpret and innovate for present artists. So we want finally a creative web in Penang, which will be sustainable maybe for a decade.
All right. Can you share with me what is the Penang Heritage Arts Festival? Like, you know, the dates, the time, and the purpose for the festival to happen.
The Penang Heritage Arts Festival is a pilot project which has been funded by Yayasan Hasana, and it was decided by myself, Jerome and Ida, that we should do it under a common roof. In this case, Bangunan UAB, which is in Lebo, China. And the dates for these are May 1, 2, 3 and May 8, 9, 10. 2 weekends. The theme is to have performances linked to Penang's past, but not simply just following tradition, but giving original works. So I'm glad to say that there will be at least 3 totally original works in this particular festival. So we hope this will be the trend for future festivals.
Okay. So can you share with me what is the Penang Heritage Art Festival all about?
Right. The word arts actually covers quite a few areas. Music, dance, and theatre are the classics. So in this pilot, we stick to these genres and want performances from each of these genres to be showcased. Now, music itself is a huge spectrum, and we hope to get a sample of some of the genres. Same thing in dance, modern and traditional mix, and in drama, strictly exploring some aspects of history and some understanding of the theories of culture and how certain genres explain how humans interact in society. So the cultural aspect is very, very important for Penang, because we cannot think ourselves of as a zone. It has to be sophisticated in its ability to project original aspects of culture, but steeped in tradition. So the Penang Heritage Arts Festival is a key festival, I feel, that will link all threads of culture in Penang and hopefully within a decade or so be quite the representative of Penang in Southeast Asia and beyond.
Wonderful. I love this. Is a very good statement. So thank you so much, Mr. J. You know what? Actually, yeah, I'm very curious because you say it's a pilot. So because of a pilot, there must be some form of inspiration. Do you mind sharing that inspiration with me?
Okay, that's a very deep question. And actually it comes from my background because I can only speak for myself. Mine is an engineering background. So it's very strange. People ask, what are you doing in the arts? But actually, I find no distinction between engineering and culture. In engineering, I have found out that to communicate well with my colleagues, with superiors, with customers and so forth, there is always an element of presenting your data and yourself in an attractive way. Therefore, the message cannot simply be technical jargon. It has to mix humor with oratorical skills, with rhetorical skills, and therefore I've always found that we need to instill culture into the young, because if they miss that step and only look at the academia as subjects in silos, the whole person cannot be developed, and hence adulthood will be a poor experience. So at least if you can play music, if you can sing a song, if you can be someone else on stage, these are elements that actually inspire young to do things out of their way, because we have to make a living, but how to live well is where we come in. Only by culture I feel that the person can be whole. So the inspiration is that. I'm a parent, I've raised 3 girls. I find that it has helped them in the long run, because they're quite balanced in their view of many things. We don't want simply the economic case or something which is very, shall we say, not inclusive. So I think culture makes us all inclusive, and that will be good for society, especially a society as diverse as ours.
You mentioned about that Bangunan UAB is chosen for the venue for this year, and it is in the cultural heritage part of Penang. So maybe you can elaborate more what that building means as well for the ideal location.
Okay, it's actually very rare for a festival to be under a single roof. From my past experience, even Georgetown Festival, they have their own venues all over the place. But actually the feeling of the festival is dissipated if you put it in various locations. But economically, that makes sense. But so when I saw UAB with 3 halls, 1 upstairs and 2 downstairs, I thought this is just nice for us. We have 3 genres, and three halls would just be the perfect place for people to discover other cultural performances. So a person who is interested in music will come there and see, oh, there's a program for dance, or there's a program for drama. So that means there is interaction between these cultures which traditionally don't mix around with each other too much. So one of the great benefits of Bangunan UAB is, yes, at least people will be exposed, oh, I never knew that this could be done and I could witness this because I've not been exposed to it before. So we hope the three genres of dance, music and stage will inspire different audiences to explore and also patronize them in the future.
Because it is in the heritage zone, maybe if you are familiar with the building's history, do you mind elaborate more on that as well?
Okay. The UAB, the location of it is, of course, in the UNESCO heritage area of Georgetown. And the outside of the building actually, I don't think has been changed since the time it was formed. I'm not sure of the dates, but internally, they have maintained, Think City has maintained its distinctiveness and its ability to do any kind of exhibition or performance there. So the halls are by itself not so specialized. That means whoever wants to use the hall can use it in various ways. So I think that by itself is just fantastic. I don't see any other place which has enough venues within a single roof to carry out a festival.
I see. So maybe I've been in that area. Do you actually know that building in the past, like what was that building for in the past? If I'm just curious, if you know.
I think it's a bank.
Oh,
it was a bank, I think, yes. But I can stand corrected for it. But yeah, so I think because of mergers and acquisitions and so forth, that particular building was taken over by Think City, and I think they have utilized it as a brilliant piece
event space
for a space that will help NGOs and societies like ours, which is non-profit essentially, to have venues which are reasonably priced.
So again, a platform for NGOs and even the arts to have a space to express themselves.
That's right.
And it's in the heritage zone, which again it fits with the festival theme. So I'm very excited to see this in action, especially that being not from Penang itself. I'm very curious what is in that building. I've passed by that building many times, but I've never been into it. So I'm actually very curious for the future, and also even this upcoming May, what is going to transform and look like. So thank you so much.
This festival is a festival which will bring a mix of performances from our local artists, dance, music and stage. Bangunan UAB is a fabulous heritage building. It looks great from the outside, but do join us in those 2 weekends in May to find out how wonderful it is inside too.
Okay.
Last one. What do you plan to be for the people of Penang? In your words.
Our greatest hope is to leave to the people of Penang and to our audiences who come to all the separate events the feeling of a great shared heritage that Penang should always be proud of, to preserve and to continue innovating on, which we should never stop ever.
Thank you for this very strong message for the Penang Heritage Art Festival. Thank you so much. And that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.
The troops, the bands, the acrobats who made the sights and sounds.